Hello and welcome to Master Your Mindset with your host Isis Foster. This is the place to be for anyone who is on a personal development journey. I will be sharing with you my own mindset hacks and personal past experiences. Please subscribe and share if you enjoy what I'm about to share with you and you've taken value from it. You never know who may need to hear it. Hello, I am so excited to be recording this week's episode because I know it's a topic which a lot of you listening are currently struggling with, and it's something that I have previously struggled with in the past myself as well. So I really hope that you take value from this episode and it helps you in whatever situation you are currently in. So this week we are going to be talking about self-discipline and why we find it so hard to stay disciplined and how we can break free of those negative mental cycles that we tell ourselves. So what is self-discipline? Self-discipline is the ability to push ourselves forward and take action regardless of how we feel physically or emotionally. So you're showing self-discipline when you're intentionally choosing yourself and you're doing it in spite of other factors such as distractions, hard work, or unfavourable odds. So for a lot of us, we will put off doing something because we know it might not essentially go to plan the first time we try it. It might be difficult and it probably will be uncomfortable if we've never tried to do it before. So self-discipline is different to self-motivation or willpower. Motivation and willpower both contribute to self-discipline, but they all act in different ways. Willpower is often being able to stop yourself from doing something that you know isn't good for you. Motivation is psyching yourself up to do something which you know is going to help you. But self-discipline is showing up for yourself even on the days when you really don't want to. So a couple of days ago, I posted on my socials that I was in the gym. And honestly, guys, this day, it was just one of those days where you know you want to do anything other than be working out. It was so hot. Thankfully my gym has aircon, but regardless of that, it was so hot and I'd literally just finished a call and I just wanted to sit and watch Netflix. But it was in my diary, and I don't know if any of you are like this as well, but if you've got something in your diary, I absolutely hate flaking on myself. But saying that, a couple of years ago, even if it was in my diary, I would have easily just scribbled it out, pretended it wasn't there, Tipp-X'd it out and pretended that I hadn't seen it and gone and done whatever I wanted to do in that moment of time. So over the course of 2 years, I have built up the strongest sense of self-discipline in myself to the point now that if I tell myself I'm going to do something, unless I literally die or unless the world comes to an end, I am doing that. Like, I hate knowing, or I hate getting into bed at the end of the night knowing that there is something which I was supposed to do in my day that I didn't actually end up doing because of something silly like watching Netflix, or because I wanted to have a long bath and little things like that, which you can still do. Obviously, watching Netflix and having a long bath, both amazing things to do. But if you have planned to do something, there is nothing worse than ending your day, getting into bed and knowing that there was something else you were supposed to do that day. I feel like it's such a waste of a day. So why do so many of us lack this skill? Why do so many of us not have as great a self-discipline as we would like? The one simple reason for this is a weak state of mind. And I know that sounds really harsh, but I'm talking to myself 2 years ago because that was me. And I know so many of you out there as well struggle with having that sense of self-discipline about yourselves. So having little to no control over your thoughts and how you action them. Engaging in negative emotions too can make your self-confidence falter and result in a lack of ambition. Have you ever had it on a day? Especially when I'm on cycle, I always feel a bit like down in the dumps, a bit gloomy, which is completely normal because your hormones are all over the place. But knowing that you have something to do can often feel like the end of the world. Like if I have it scheduled into my diary that I have to go for a walk or do a workout or something physical when my body is in so much pain, there's literally nothing else in the world that I'd rather do less. However, my brain has built up this encouragement, I guess, to itself to say that when I get into bed at the end of the night. For those of you that journal and you journal about your day, I never want to have to say, I wish that I did this in my day. I never want to regret not doing something which I know I could have easily done. Obviously in the moment it's really easy to say, oh, like I'll just do this later on, and then later on actually never actually happens. So we very often run from hard and uncomfortable things. So this could be anything like having a conversation with a partner or a friend because they've done something to upset you. This could be checking your bank account because you're not sure how much money's in there. This could be having an awkward conversation with your boss. It could even be going to the gym and doing a workout. Things that aren't easy and things that are going to put you in a bit of an uncomfortable state, we usually turn around and run the opposite way from, because it is easier to do anything else in that moment apart from the one thing that you should be doing. So why do we work on self-discipline? We work on self-discipline purely for that reason, so that the things that we currently find hard don't become hard in the long run. Because all those things like having conversations, checking your bank account, going for a workout, these are all actually really easy things to do, but we know 101 other things which are easier in that moment, and these are things that don't necessarily make you feel good before you do them. However, how would it feel if you were to check your bank account and there was going to be more money in there than you thought there was going to be? Or you do a workout and then afterwards you feel so amazing about the workout. Or you have a conversation which you think is going to be uncomfortable, but the conversation actually makes you feel 10 times lighter, and you walk away knowing exactly what you need to do in the future. So a top tip from me, whenever I feel like I don't want to do something, I think about the best positive outcome from it and go in thinking that that is going to happen. And then it's the same as the law of attraction. What you put out to the world, you receive. So if you go into something negatively thinking it's going to be bad, the chances are, yes, it probably will be bad. But if you go in thinking this is the best possible way it can come out, anything after that isn't as bad because you've gone in with such a positive mind. How do we break free of not being disciplined? Because we already know what self-discipline is and we know why it's important to be self-disciplined, but how do we become self-disciplined if we're not already? And it is so simple. The problem with this is people don't spend enough time consistently trying to build up self-discipline for themselves. So there's a few simple steps which I'm now going to share with you. And number one is keep your daily tasks manageable. So many of us have to-do lists as long as our arms. Like, I used to be that person who had so many things that I wanted to do in a day, when in reality there was only actually a few things out of that list which were really important and things that I really had to tick off. So make sure your daily tasks are manageable. Don't overwhelm yourself with thinking that you have to conquer the world in a day, because you absolutely do not. Pick out the most important things off of that to-do list and go and run with them. If you have larger projects which you have been set by work, or larger projects which you may have even set yourself, break these into smaller tasks, because you've all heard the saying, Rome wasn't built in a day, and that is so true. We all think that all these incredible things were made overnight and you're going to be this incredible person overnight. No, that is not true. It takes a lot of grind, a lot of self-discipline and a lot of consistency to get you from where you are now to where you want to be. So get rid of all those things which encourage laziness. If you are someone, and I am so guilty for this, if I'm just sat there lying, I find it very hard just to stay focused. I'll often just pick up my phone and start looking through social media, go on TikTok, do everything but the thing I'm meant to be doing. So if you are that person, put your phone somewhere where you can't be distracted by it. Put it somewhere where you're not going to be tempted to pick it up and start scrolling aimlessly. If you're at home and you know you need to do a workout, put yourself in a different room where there isn't anywhere to sit down, where you can't just lie on the sofa or lie on your bed. Think about what you can do to help yourself stop being not disciplined. If it encourages laziness and there's an easier way out, put yourself in a situation which is going to feel a little bit uncomfortable for a little bit, but it will internally help you in the long run. And this is something which I always say to my clients, because obviously everyone I work with has got a goal in mind. They've got something they want to achieve. So the most important thing you can do to yourself mentally when you're trying to achieve something is to give yourself little rewards. Giving yourself a reward isn't a bad thing at all. If anything, it's the complete opposite. It's incredible to reward yourself and say, well done, you did something which you didn't initially want to do, but you have shown up for yourself, and as a reward you can have X, Y or Z. You can give yourself something which you know you want, but if you're constantly just giving yourself rewards without any work done in the background, your mind will automatically think it can have all of those things at any point in time, which obviously isn't going to help you in the long run. Another thing which is really helpful is to give yourself time limits. So I know that when I get into the flow of something, I'm absolutely fine. But getting myself started and doing something, I can sometimes struggle with. And this is something that I've learned about myself over the course of the past couple of years. So time limits have been crucial for me in staying consistent and being able to stay focused whilst I'm doing whatever the task is. So set yourself a timer. If you're trying to, let's say, meditate, set yourself a timer of 10 minutes. Don't set yourself something for 60 minutes if it's your first time meditating, because you just will not be able to do it. Set yourself realistic time limits. You know yourself best, so you know what time limits will be relevant to you and the task that you are doing. But get your phone and set a timer, even if it's a timer of having some time away from your phone. Put your phone in a different room, set a timer for however long you want to stay away from your phone, get on with the task, and when the timer goes off, you know your time is up, and then you can have your phone again. So you need to just create your own focus ritual. So for everyone this will be different. There are no two people out there whose brains work in the same way or they enjoy the same kind of task done at the same time. So over time, using the above techniques that I've given you, you will be able to come up with your own focus ritual. And it is a case of staying consistent to these things. And you do need to fight your inner thoughts, because let's be honest, it would be so easy to say like, oh, I'm just going to lie on the sofa and not do my workout today. But in the long run, is that going to get you the body results that you want? Is that going to get you the mentality that you want in order to grow? Absolutely not. So use the above techniques that I've given you and create your own focus ritual. You'll know over time what your focus ritual looks like, but like I said, it will take time for you to realize exactly what does work for you and what doesn't. It may be a combination of the few above techniques that I've given you, but try around, play with it, just see what it feels good to you and then go with that. And I know a lot of people listening to this would have heard of the 5-second rule. But when I first discovered this, I was like, oh, absolutely not. Like, who counts to 5 and then tries to do something? But genuinely, that is the rule that I use every morning to get out of bed. When my alarm goes off, I am human. There is not a single part of me that wants to be like, yay, it's the morning. I want to sleep for like an extra 10 minutes. But I use that rule every single morning. I literally say to myself, if I don't get up within the next 5 seconds, there is no way I'm getting up for the next 5 minutes. So if you've got something that you know you need to do, give yourself 5 seconds, and if it doesn't happen before that 5 seconds, don't beat yourself up, but just know that it's not going to happen for a long time after that. So if you've got something you want to do, get up and do it within the first 5 seconds, because I promise it will help so much. The first couple of times you try it, you might be like me and think to yourself, oh, this isn't going to work. But once you do it a couple of times, you're almost training your brain into thinking that it can do anything within the first 5 seconds. Once you have a thought, you have to action it. If it isn't actioned, it's not going to happen. So just to summarise the last points of how to break free of not being disciplined. Number 1, keep daily tasks manageable. Number 2, break larger projects into smaller tasks. Number 3, get rid of things which encourage laziness. Number 4, give yourself rewards. Number 5, give yourself time limits. Number 6, create your own focus ritual. And number 7, use the 5-second rule. I hope this podcast has given you so much value. if you are currently in a position where you are finding it hard to stay disciplined and you want extra support, please look at my show notes and click on the link, as it will give you a one-to-one clarity call with myself where we can discuss anything that you want to further. Thank you so much for listening, and I can't wait for you to tune in next time. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Master Your Mindset with your host, me, Isis Foster. If you have enjoyed what I have shared with you today, I would really appreciate it if you could share it on your social media platforms and tag me at Isis Foster 1. My goal with creating this podcast is to reach as many people as possible and help them get to wherever they want to be. So if you're in that position of being able to share this, it would be very much appreciated. Can't wait for you to tune in to the next podcast episode. Have an amazing week.